Welcome back to Sawyer Farm. Today we're going to be getting into, if you watched our previous couple videos, we processed some meat rabbits, and today we're going to show you how to kind of ways you can kind of seal them up, to put them in the freezer, and to we're going to cut them too, so you can kind of see some of the cuts we're going to be doing. So right now we got our 3 rabbits that we did, and I'm going to kind of quarter them up the way I like to do it. You don't have to quarter if you don't want to. Actually, one of them we're going to keep whole. And then we're going to stick them in here and see how much these weigh. I think quartering them will probably be a little bit easier sticking them in there, so we're just going to start with that. So right now, here is the rabbit we got. Kind of what it looks like. So I like to, the back ones right here, the back legs are kind of got a lot of meat here. The most of your meat's going to be back here and kind of right here, your back strap area. So to get the legs off, what you kind of do is just kind of pop them like that. That pops that joint out. Yeah, I already did that one. And then you just come along here and just cut. And then you got the little kind of the arms up here. Now there's no bones attached to this. It's mainly just kind of like muscle in a sense. So you kind of just follow it down here. Alright, so then right now we got just the body cavity here. So what I like to do is kind of right where it kind of comes down with the ribs, right here on the side. I just like to make a little cut right here. Kind of just go down till I get to the bone. And then you can just get whatever you got to cut a bone with. So now you kind of got this piece right here. And you can kind of cut this off the belly of it, or you can keep it on there if you want. I know some people fry it up and eat it that way. And that's pretty much kind of quartering the rabbit up in the sense. You got your back legs here, which had kind of your somewhat main cut is where all the kind of most of the meat is. You got your front legs, and then you got your kind of back strap and your kind of ribs and everything. Really it's that easy. We're going to kind of clean up. You'll see a lot of this kind of bruising and maybe some on here. We'll just kind of clean that up a little bit just to get that off. And then after that, we're going to probably just package it, and we'll just show you some other little tips and tricks on why we do what we do. So we got the first one done. We're going to be putting it on the scale here. I got it zeroed out, so we're going to see how much this particular rabbit weighed. And after this, after we kind of get done with the packaging, I'll go through the actual kind of breakdown of the feed and kind of the costs and everything, and see if it's somewhat comparable to the chicken we did. Now, there's going to be a lot of variables, but we'll get into that here in the end. But let's stick these in here and see what we got. I did cut a little bit off of the kind of the bruised meat and stuff. It came out to 3 pounds and 5 ounces. 3 pounds 5 ounces for this rabbit right here. We're going to cut up the rest. We're going to cut one more up, and then we will be packaging them, and I'll see what both of these weigh also. So we got the other one cut up. Like we said, we're going to be leaving this one whole. Weighed the other 2, and they were, all 3 of them are about 3 pounds 6 ounces. So it's pretty cool. They were literally the exact same. So the next step is we are going to just do another final washing. Just make sure we're getting all the, just anything off of them. There's still maybe a little bit of hair and stuff like that, or fur. So we're just going to do another cleaning, and then get to the packaging. Alright, so the first method we're going to do is the vacuum sealer. We here have just a food saver, big game. We like using this. Haven't had any issues much with it. It's a pretty efficient way of doing it because it sucks all the air out. You know, everyone knows about a vacuum sealer. So this one, how we're going to do it, and kind of like the way I like to package a lot of it, is I like to do kind of like all the front legs, kind of the back legs, and then kind of your back strap, rib area, and I'll tell more a little bit about that. But that's kind of the way I like to package them, is doing it that way, because these are kind of smaller. You can almost kind of think of like chicken legs. You know, they're not very big, so you're going to need a lot more of them when you're eating them. So it just depends on how many you're doing and what you want in there. I think I kind of look at it, for every 2 front legs somewhat equals 1 back leg. And so that's kind of the way I look at it. So this time I'm going to put these 4 in here. And so that'll kind of be equivalent of 2 front legs. And I think that's a pretty good, you know, somewhat meal for, you know, I think 1 person, but depending on how much you eat, could be a little less. So once you get it in here, and you just put this down over in that groove right there. And you lock it down, and right here they have a seal and a vacuum seal. And the vacuum seal, and then now it's sealing it. Now it's done. And now you got it vacuum sealed. This is probably the best method to use, just because it sucks everything out and it'll make your food last a lot longer. You can buy some really high dollar ones. I mean, this one's kind of expensive also. We kind of just got this last year. I think there was like a Christmas sale and we got it. So we got it on the cheap. But a lot of the times we don't really even use this, and I'll show you the other way that you could literally buy rabbits and like start your whole process in a day, and it's actually pretty good. And we mainly use this method. We use the Ziploc bags, but we'll come over here and do that. Alright, so as for the kind of your rib cage, because there's still a decent amount of meat right here kind of on the back strap, and so what I like to do, most of the time whenever I make like a stew or something, this is what I use, because I put it in the crock pot and it just, you know, just falls off the bone. So this is what I kind of like to use for that type of stuff. And so what I'll do is I'll keep these together, and I actually get this piece and just stick it in there, because then it's less likely you're going to actually poke your bag and have the bag break. So it kind of protects it from there. You just put it in there, and it fits pretty nice. And depending on how many you're doing and what you want to do, you can pretty much stack them however much, depending on your size. Like whenever we're making them, if it's a small crock pot, I just use like probably 1 of those. If it's more of a bigger one, I may use 2. Just kind of depends on how many people you're trying to feed. So yeah, just stick that in there, and then just put it down like that. And it's packaged just like that. So that's the ribs and the kind of like your back strap area. Now we go on to the legs, which I prefer kind of the most. I really like these. And I just do, goes just whatever you want to do. I do more of kind of just like a personal, so I'll put 2 in there. Just because, if I do 4 and say, I want to just make this for myself, if I'm just doing, just lunch for me, 2 of them's pretty good with some sides. And so I just kind of do 2 like that. This came out pretty good. Put the other 2 in here. And then we'll show you exactly how, kind of a special way of vacuum sealing without a vacuum sealer. It's pretty neat. A buddy told me about it, and so then I tried it, and I think it works pretty good if you don't have a vacuum sealer. Alright, so this is a little trick. So you have your bag, zip it all the way up until you got, I don't know, just a little small amount right there that's still open. Fill your tank, whatever you got, sink, fill it up with kind of like hot water. Not boiling hot, but just kind of, warm water. And what you're going to do is come in here and you're going to stick this down in here, and then you're going to press. You're going to get the water as high as you can before the seal. And then you're going to seal it off. So you kind of have it like that. Now this is not a completely vacuum sealed. It's not the same thing, but if you don't have one, this is a lot better than just kind of pressing out the air, because over here I had it kind of pressed out, and this don't look bad, but you can kind of tell, there's just a lot more space between everything. The bag's not sucked up to the meat. With this, you can tell right here that the bag's really sucked up, where there's not a whole lot of air, especially right here. There's not really any air right there. And then with this one, you can just tell a little bit of a difference, and that will help make your food last a little bit longer. So that is the way you can kind of vacuum seal your meat. It can be vegetables. We do this on vegetables and stuff too, that you're gonna freeze. Anything you want to put in a freezer, you can pretty much do this with. Just make sure you zip it across here, leave a little gap for air. You can even kind of put your finger in there, push it up to make sure you get all the air out, and then seal it off real quick. And that's kind of how you get a little vacuum seal going on. So we're going to do the rest of these, and pretty much the only thing you got to do after that is just mark them, the date, what the meat is. So on this one, I'll put, rabbit, and I'll put the date it was, packaged, and then I'll put, 2 back legs. I'll put X2 back legs. So then when I'm looking at it, because sometimes when they freeze, they look a little different. I know exactly what they are, know how many's in there. That especially helps for the front legs, to know how many front legs you have in there if you're not always consistent with it. And after that, you're pretty much done. You just stick them in the freezer, and whenever you want to eat it, that's all you got to do. So let me get these done real quick, and then we'll do kind of like a cost breakdown of the rabbit. All right, so we're going to do the breakdown of the rabbits. We calculate as much as the feed as we could. It's not perfect. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but so what we got was we used 29 pounds of feed per rabbit. So we did calculate actually feeding the mom. Usually, your first 4 weeks, they're not really eating a whole lot of pellets. But we did, as soon as they were born, that is when we started calculating the feed, even when the mom was eating. So we used that part of it, because I believe that kind of goes with raising them. You got to have your mom and stuff like that. So that's when we kind of started the calculating the feed. It wasn't perfect, but it gives you somewhat of a ballpark on our calculations. So from what I got was 29 pounds of feed, which that costed $7.54 for that feed. The rabbits came out to pretty much all 3 of them were 3 pounds 6 ounces. It was pretty well together. And I will say this, we were raising them with I think we had 3 or 4 other ones with them, but we kept those back for breeders. But I just divided kind of all the feed up of what we got. but this is like the individual cost. And so it came out to $2.09 per pound. And I'm not really happy with that number. I've done a lot of research and I've seen a lot of other channels do a lot better with their rabbits, with their weight and everything. Because right now with our chickens, it's almost double of what the chickens took. Because I think the chickens was like almost $1.09 a pound or something like that. So the chickens went better than what our rabbits did. Now I'll say this, and this is the one thing that I've learned with this, because I've never actually done pen to paper with it a lot, but these rabbits were about 18 and a half weeks, which I will say it was definitely too long. We normally do them at 12 weeks is what I've kind of done in the past. I've seen a lot of other people do 16, and we had 3 of them that we knew we were going to butcher, and I thought, let's go to 16 and just kind of see how it was. Well, when 16 came along, we were just kind of getting busy. You know how life is. And it just kind of kept getting away. And it got to about, 18 and a half weeks. So that was kind of, our fault on that, just kind of waiting. And that's probably why we got the numbers that we did. We still got good meat. It's not like we paid ridiculously amount for them. But if you're trying to do this for profit and stuff like that, I wouldn't let this discourage you from getting rabbits, because this has showed me I want to do one at like 12 weeks and maybe do one at 16 and come back to this and see the main difference between 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 18 and a half, and that'll give us a good picture of what you're getting for your money's worth. So I won't say this was a failure by any means. It definitely is a learning experience. Because I haven't really put it pen to paper in a very long time, and I can't remember. So definitely you'll see some videos later down the line. We're going to try to revamp this and try to see what it is when there's kind of like 12 weeks and stuff. So if you're thinking about getting rabbits, it's definitely a good thing to get. Just a little thing about rabbits versus chickens. Rabbits, you can start off real quick. You don't need a whole lot of equipment. You literally just need a cage, and then whenever you're processing, you need a knife. And you've seen our processing video before this. Chickens, you've seen our processing chickens. It kind of takes a lot of equipment and stuff. So if you're wanting to get into something real quick, rabbits is pretty good because you don't need a lot of equipment to process them and things like that. So you just kind of got to wait through, but stay tuned later down the line, and we'll try to do a little bit better job and calculating all this stuff and give it a really good run for the money on the meat to kind of feed ratio. But we really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Really hope that it was informational for you, that you learned something and kind of learned a little bit from our mistakes. Like we said, we're not perfect. You got questions, comments, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell for notifications. And guys, as always, take care and God bless. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. My hair good? Should I put a hat on?
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. Ready?
Yes.
You're gonna have fun when you're editing this. Okay. Hold on.